Welcome to Batman on Batman. I'm Kevin Smith. Okay, the first thing running through your head is, my lord, he looks tan and he looks good. He looks a little too good, man. That's right, I got magic hair and makeup all over my face because we were doing a poster shoot for Comic Book Men Season 6, returning very soon to AMC right after Geeking Out, which starts on AMC August 14th on Sunday nights after Fear the Walking Dead. Me and Greg Grunberg doing a show where we sit around and suck the dick of everything that we love in the world that's not real people. If you turn in to watch two bears sucking dick, that ain't the show for you. You want to see two bears appreciating movies, like going off on Suicide Squad, stuff like that? Geeking Out, the show for you. But we're not here to talk about either of those shows. We're here to talk about the aforementioned, very briefly, Suicide Squad. That's right, the DC Universe. Sorry, I shit my teeth. DC Universe, or as they're calling it, the DC Extended Universe. I don't know why they're not just calling it DC Movie U, DCMU, DC Move. Or filmic, or cinematic, DCCU. Maybe that's why they're not doing it, DCCU. So maybe it's just DCEU. Regardless, we're off in full swing. It is now retroactively begins with Man of Steel, as we've seen, has moved forward with Batman v Superman, as we saw earlier this summer, or before the summer even began, fucking spring. Is that how long ago it was? All I know is right after Deadpool, and so that kind of hurt. But now, third installment is happening. I held up four fingers and stuff. Three movies have happened. The third one is Suicide Squad, and they got David Ayer to direct it. Now, I'm a David Ayer fan, man. He doesn't have a huge filmography, but I like the stuff the guy's done. He wrote Training Day, which is a movie everybody loves. Antoine Fuqua directed it, but I don't know if it was off the strength of that or not. He got this movie, End of Watch, which is like a cop movie and stuff, and there have been a zillion of those. But man, oh man, was this insanely good. Like, this dude, Ayer is a true filmmaker, man. You watch that movie, he uses every media you can in telling a visually oriented story. He uses dashboard cams in the cop car, he uses body cams, not just the standard 35 millimeter, probably digital at that point, cameras to cover the action. It was brilliantly shot, very gripping, performance-driven movie. Wonderful stuff. Next flick he did, I couldn't care less about. They were like, Brad Pitt's in a tank movie. I said, fucking tank movie, I don't give a shit. World War II, I've seen it enough, man. Unless Captain America or Wonder Woman's there, I don't want to see World War II anymore. But somebody said, a lot of people I trust, like a year after it came out, they're like, you should watch that fucking tank movie, dude. That tank movie is really good. Finally, like, I heard it from enough people, I was like, fuck it, I'll watch the tank movie. And the tank movie was dope, man. Like, he made a tank movie fucking good. So right away, I'm like, I'm watching this guy. Anything he does, I want to see. They announced he's doing Suicide Squad, so right away I'm like, what is a dude like this? Because he works in the gritty and the real and stuff. What is that dude gonna do with Suicide Squad? What a great pairing, man. Of everything he could have chose, he chose that. Enter into the DC universe, and these characters are very unreal. And they announced that it was gonna be a Harlequin Suicide Squad, so we got even more excited. But I was excited, everyone in the world who likes DC Comics was excited because finally, man, we're gonna see some other characters, not Batman, fucking Superman over and over again. But they just gave us Wonder Woman finally. Now they're giving us a fucking plethora of characters, including Deadshot, Harlequin, Killer Croc, Slipknot, briefly. Let me see, spoilers. Who else? The Enchantress, Katana, Diablo, man, I think I got everybody. List goes, and of course, the Joker, the return of a cinematic Joker. The first time we're seeing a Joker since Heath Ledger so brilliantly portrayed the Joker in The Dark Knight. So it's tall order. This movie's got a lot going on. We also heard whispers, and then we saw in the trailers that like Batman was going to be in it. Shit, even before the trailers, man, they're shooting outside in Toronto, and people are like, fucking Batman's on the roof of a car. Ben Affleck's on the roof of a car. No, he wasn't. A really brave stuntman was on the roof of that car. But Batman was indeed in the movie. We had that told to us early on. We saw proof and stuff. So there's high expectations for this movie across the board. I got a kid who's named Harley Quinn, and this movie was her religion. The moment they dropped that first trailer, she would cry and watch it. Everyone, my kid cries a lot. People are like, your kid better stop crying. At least she ain't crying because I'm like, shut up. She crying because she liked Harley Quinn, so shut the fuck up. She crying because she got a Harley Quinn bat. She cried because we went to the premiere. She loves Harley Quinn. It's her namesake, and she loves Margot Robbie as well, who played her. So my kid, man, as soon as they dropped this first trailer, which was like epic, the trailers for this movie were pieces of art in and of themselves. From what I understand, they might have helped shape the movie a little bit later on, regardless. Trailers are fantastic. She watched that first trailer over and over again, man, like it was its own mini movie with amazing soundtrack, very expensive soundtrack that they had. And this movie has that soundtrack. It's fucking nuts how much needle drops in this music. It's like Casino. Probably the most expensive soundtrack I ever seen in a movie since Casino. It's just like every song you've ever heard throughout your entire life that costs money is in this fucking movie. And they move on very quickly. I like that. I love when studios like, make it rain, use any music you want and stuff like that. It's very rare. They did it in this instance. So the kid was watching this trailer forever. When they opened the next trailer, dropped the next trailer, she was all over that. She was all over me about like, you gotta get us there. You gotta get me in to see this movie early and stuff. I ain't got that much juice, I told her and stuff. So we did wind up getting tickets to go to the premiere the other night, and she was beside herself. She saw Margot Robbie on the red carpet. She started crying and stuff. I was talking to BuzzFeed at the time, and I pulled the kid up on stage. I was like, look at this mess. She fucking loves Margot Robbie so much she's crying. This is unreal. So we went in to see the movie together. Her expectations were fucking high. I'll give you her review. And she can't even do that. She ain't got a dick. But she was just a... She loved the fucking movie in a big bad way. For what it's worth, there's a 17-year-old girl who's the star of a movie comes out September 2nd called Yoga Hosers, or it's on screens August 30th for a Fathom Events, like one time only in theaters with a Q&A afterwards and stuff. And then September 2nd comes out in theaters. She got her own movie coming out. She can give a fuck. Like most critics in the world and most people, she can give a fuck about a Kevin Smith movie. All she cared about was Suicide Squad, and she saw it and she was fucking beside herself. She immediately, like any good fan, as soon as it's over, she's bawling. She was like, what's the next one? So there's your review. 17-year-old girl, this is her fucking movie, man. Now, a review from a 46-year-old man, a man who likes comic books, a man who's been reading this stuff forever, a man who's been waving the flag for this kind of thing since the beginning of his fucking career when comics weren't cool, man. So what did I think about it? I thought it was fucking dope. I think he did a great job. I honestly think, like, I used to be one of those cats that was like, they should give comic book material to people that know comic books very well and stuff. David's movie, to me, was a commercial for, you can give comic book material to people outside the medium, maybe didn't grow up with this shit in their blood or whatever, and it creates a real interesting effect. This is I don't want this to sound dismissive. This movie was like a Hot Topics come to life. Like you were in the mall and suddenly Hot Topics came to life and started fighting in front of you and shit like that. It was dope, man. It felt young, and I'm like 40, I'm midlife, over midlife. Let's be honest, I'll be dead in 5 years. 46 years old, man. I felt like a kid watching this movie, not just because, oh my God, I love these characters. I'm seeing some of my favorite characters up on the big screen and stuff. It just felt young, had this energy to it and stuff. I ain't dismissing the critics and whatnot. Some people have kind of railed against the movie, and if you don't like it, you don't like it. And I'm not saying they don't get it by any stretch of the imagination. Don't fucking put my words in a way where suddenly fucking critics are up my asshole again and shit, or vice versa. But I could see whereas maybe this movie might not be for, everyone, and no movie is, but this movie's for the youth, man. Oh my God, this movie felt young and vibrant and stuff like that, while being like dark and twisted and emo at the same time. Felt like a rebellious teenager. Whole fucking movie, man, but one that you wanted to be around, not one where you're like, I fucking hate this kid. It felt naughty, just a little bit. Corporate naughty, you know what that means, not that naughty at all, but it felt like, there was a grit and grime to it. I enjoyed the hell out of it. Let's go through the flick, if you will. Starts by introducing us to Amanda Waller in a movie. Viola Davis was wonderful. But Amanda Waller, as we see in the trailer, sets up the whole, like, we've got to put together a task force. What if Superman fucking came to Earth and ripped off the president's head, whatever the fuck. We got to put together Task Force X, man. Anybody who read the comics knows John Ostrander's amazing book, Suicide Squad, started way back in the late 80s, if I remember correctly. Had Deadshot in the original incarnation, had Rick Flag in the original incarnation as well. So she wants to put together a band of the worst of the worst. This seems like more of the New 52 incarnation of the Suicide Squad, because it's got Harlequin in it and a host of others, Killer Croc and stuff. So same idea. It's the Dirty Dozen with comic book characters, with supervillains. Been in existence, the comic, for over 20 years. Finally, they get a big screen retelling. So when we meet the squad to be, they do it in like vignettes that are very comic booky in terms of, it felt like you're turning a page, seeing a splash, and then reading a page of backstory before turning a comic book page, hitting with another fucking awesome splash page, and then reading the backstory and stuff like that of a Secret Origins book or something. So we meet the whole squad that way, and I think that smelled like Jeff Johns to me. I smelled that very Jeff Johns, somebody who knows a lot about DC Comics and knows like this is a way to introduce everybody in a really clean manner. And it goes on. It's not fast. It's not just like, oh man, that was quick. And they introduce everybody and give backstory. The two most thrilling, of course, is for Deadshot, played by Will Smith, who is fantastic in this movie. Anybody who's just like, oh, Will Smith is in the movie, man, he ain't gonna do an ensemble piece. Total ensemble piece, and he's charming as fucking hell. Charm Street, across the boards. I was a guy who was like, man, if they hire Will Smith, he's not gonna wear the mask the whole time. If he ever wear a mask, he's not fucking Deadshot. He wears the mask in the movie a couple times, but I'll be honest with you, as a guy looking for the fucking mask, like, I was kind of happy he didn't wear the mask, because he was enjoying it. Was enjoyable to watch, man. He was having a good fucking time and stuff like that. So Will Smith, wonderful as Deadshot. They introduced Deadshot, Floyd Lawton, and a relationship with his daughter. If you know those comic books, including like the Deadshot miniseries, you know like something happens with this kid in the books that they don't do in this movie, but there's some potential there and shit like that. So in his secret origin, they show him, you've seen it in some of the clips online, like taking out a dude, but then he's walking with his kid and fucking Batman gets the drop on him in an alleyway and stuff, and then he gets the drop on Batman. He could kind of shoot him, and the kid stands in the way. She's like, Daddy, don't do it. But it's just so fucking dope, man, to see like Batman, the use of Batman in this movie as opposed to every other movie we've ever seen Batman in, which is like Batman, the brooding motherfucker, the Hamlet of comics and shit, the melancholy Bat. It's all about him and whoever he's fighting in that fucking movie and stuff. So, you know, you're inundated with Batman. If you're a Batman fan, that's good. But they use him so sparingly. Same way they would use him in a Suicide Squad comic, where it's like, you know, and then he fucking showed up, and then Batman's there. And he's in and out of the story, man. He's interacting with some of your favorite characters. Seeing him there with Deadshot, seeing Deadshot, he wasn't in the full costume. That's the only thing that would have made it fucking like, I would have fucking nutted, dude, unassisted. That would have been weird because my kid was sitting there. But fucking that would have done it for me, man, if he was in the fucking Deadshot gear. He was just looking like Floyd Lawton and stuff, but still, like, there he is, Deadshot and fucking Batman and stuff, and in an alleyway. And then eventually, like, here's something you fucking never see in a Batman movie, particularly in that last Batman movie. Batman pulls out a set of cuffs. He's not just like, another one down, let's brand this corpse and shit. He actually pulls out cuffs to arrest a guy and shit. It's very comic books to me. I kind of like that and stuff. So seeing him meet Deadshot, Batman meet Deadshot, fucking Batman and the guy who played Deadshot together in a movie was in the ill-fated Jersey Girl. But apparently David Ayer was like a good pairing. He put those two together. He didn't get that idea from me. I ain't saying that. Don't fucking write that I said that and shit. I just think it's ironic that when Batman met Deadshot, it wasn't in Suicide Squad. Technically, it was in Jersey Girl, a movie that Batman would probably rather forget. In any event, next person we meet, Harlequin. That's the fucking marquee name in this movie. As much as Will Smith is an absolute star and Deadshot's phenomenal in the flick, Harlequin. This is a character that everyone's been waiting over 20 years to see pop up on the big screen. We've seen her in the animated series where she began. We've seen her in the books. We've seen her in the video games. Now, finally, she's up on the big screen, played by the same lady who was going out with Leonardo DiCaprio in that fucking Wall Street movie and shit. Similar accent and whatnot. So she was a good choice on the surface. She kind of looks the part of Harlequin, Harleen Quinzel, if you will. So, we've seen her throughout the trailers, and everyone got over the look. I got over the look right away in terms of like, man, she ain't wearing the fucking onesie. Where's the fucking onesie? They show you the onesie in the movie, bitch. There's a scene with the fucking onesie. It's a quick clip, her dancing with the Joker. At one point, she pulls the onesie out the box, and you see the outfit, but you saw her in the full outfit. And I'll be honest with you, like, that was something I was like, why won't they why is she dressed like this and shit? I felt like a parent yelling at my kid, why are you dressed in these booty shorts? Where is your onesie and stuff? I was really outraged. But I'll be honest with you, man, like, seeing her in the onesie in the movie for the brief time she was, it's a good choice there. Put her in the onesie, man. Some shit looks amazing on a comic book page, and in real life, you're like, oh, that's what I've given up fucking family, health, and friends for? That looks weird in real life. So I was glad they gave her a different look, than the onesie look, but I was fucking elated that the onesie was on display. The leotard, whatever you want to call it, shit. That was dope. Margot Robbie is Harley Quinn, man. She's just fantastic. They've already announced that there's going to be a standalone Harley Quinn movie. I look forward to that in a big bad way, man. Everything they gave us with the character so far has been fun in this movie and enjoyable. The Joker stuff, the Harley and Joker stuff is really good. I saw Paul Dini after the movie. Paul Dini, co-creator of Harley Quinn, so something of an authority. And I was like, dude, the Joker relationship. And Paul goes, I almost cried watching the movie because he actually loves her. Like the version that Paul and Bruce Timm created for the animated series, Joker is just like the worst abusive boyfriend on the planet and shit. Could give a fuck about Harley Quinn unless he needs her to do something. But in the movie, there's actual, like, there's this running love story between the two that's actually kind of sweet. Now, some people, like, if you think the fucking Joker and Harlequin have a sweet relationship, dude, then I shudder to think what goes on in your marriage. I'm talking for these characters. Don't base your fucking lives on them and shit like that. But in terms of doing Joker and Harlequin, it's not like, you know, he does create her and seduces her and fucking electrocutes her, it looks like at one point. But she seems kind of game for it. She's like, I can take anything. And then she makes the choice. That's the other thing. They do the New 52 Harlequin origin where, you know, she falls back into the vat of acid, kind of like the Joker. But in this one, like, it's, you know, it's like, do you love me? Will you die for me? And she's like, she chooses to, like, throw herself into the vat, and then after she dives in, he fucking swine dives after her. It's fucking sweet, man. Like, I gotta be honest with you. Like, I didn't see it coming. I thought they'd do it straight up, especially because I saw pieces of Leto all over the trailer. And the one shot early in the first trailer where you heard his laugh, and Harley Quinn was like, uh-oh. So you thought maybe she didn't fucking go for him. Maybe they used to be dating, and now in this movie they're not. But it's insanely sweet, man. I didn't see that one coming, that aspect of the movie. Leto's Joker, I liked a lot, and I think they used him just the right amount. I think if you had used him a whole movie, like the same length that they used Heath Ledger's Joker, you would sit there and try to make comparisons. But in a way, since they used him sparingly, they kind of use him like Batman in the movie. He's in the movie more than Batman, but Batman's in a couple scenes. He's in the Harley origin, the background, the secret origin. They go through her entire story kind of in clips, and then, you know, that scene you've seen online with the Joker and Harley in a car, and Batmobile chases him, he jumps on their roof and shit. And she's like, not on date night, and she keeps firing through the roof and shit. And then a car goes into the drink, Joker and Harley Quinn, and Batman like grapplings off the roof and saves himself, but then puts on the breather and fucking swan dives in. Dope shot. He goes and rescues Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn like gets in his face, and underwater he punches her in the face, which, you know, some people are like, hey man, that's a little harsh and shit. She is a psychopath, these are fictional characters. But that does come like out of the comics and animated series. Batman's an equal opportunity puncher. And it was underwater, how hard could that punch be? But I'll be honest, the theater I was in, everybody laughed. It was like a stress release, kind of like, ah, and it wasn't like, yay, hitting women. They were like, oh my God, Batman hit Harley Quinn in real life, and we've seen that in comics before, and we've seen that in the animated series. I know a bunch of people on the internet right now are gonna be like, Batman never hit Harley Quinn in the animated series, you piece of shit, you're a misogynist, blah, blah, blah. I'm not cheering fucking beating a woman, Jesus Christ. So many disclaimers in this review. I just liked seeing a real life Batman and a real life Harley Quinn in a real life crime fighting situation. That's it, Jesus. Okay, so Margot Robbie kills it, man. She's wonderful. Like, her and Will Smith steal almost every scene they're in, as does Amanda Waller. And then the rest of the team is, you know, Killer Croc doesn't have a shit ton to do, but he looks fucking badass, and it's a funny kind of PS with him at the end. There is, let's see, I loved Katana. The Katana, they do the Soul Taker sword, and they talk about, like, you know, that sword's got her husband's soul in it and shit like that. And then at one point they show her talking to the sword and stuff. Come on, man, I'm a big fucking Batman and the Outsiders fan. I love that Batman cartoon they did where they introduced Katana as kind of a new Robin. So the notion that they added her in this and she's wearing a fucking mask is just phenomenal. You gotta understand, like, you know, I think you see a chasm online where some people are like, I don't like this movie, and other people are willing to, you know, poll to shut down fucking Rotten Tomatoes because they love this movie so much, whether they've seen it or not. That has everything to do with, like, you know, if you're a Marvel fan, as I've been for years, and you get to see all these characters coming to life on the big screen and shit and doing well, you know, DC folks, it feels like this is our time. And so you're not necessarily going like, this has to, you know, fucking be as good as Civil War. You're just happy to see Deadshot in a movie. You're just happy to see Harley Quinn presented in a movie. You're happy to see them building the universe. You know, they are playing catch up a little bit in the DC movies and catch up. I mean, in terms of Marvel's had a lot more time to do it, and they've built fantastic movies across the fucking boards. A universe full of great movies. Throw a rock in every one of those movies, fucking enjoyable as shit. DC and Warner Brothers figuring their shit out still, and so far I think this is a massive step in the right direction. This one, more so than Man of Steel and Batman v Superman, and this is not a diss on Zack Snyder, who I dig, and I think he's a fantastic visual stylist as well, but this one felt like they're claiming their crease. Number one, they've got a concept nobody's done yet, the bad guys is the good guys, and step two of that is they're gonna have the first all-female superhero movie first with Wonder Woman coming next year. So I feel like between Suicide Squad and Wonder Woman, bam, we'll finally see DC on firm feet. Right after that is Justice League, and hopefully the universe keeps going forever and ever and ever. What other characters? Diablo has a real touching backstory. It's kind of sweet and stuff. I wasn't very familiar with that character, so he played very well for me in the movie. Slipknot, if you love him, just hold on to that love for as long as you can. It's pretty quick. And let's see, what else can we talk about? I talked about the Batman usage in and out of the movie. The main plot, Enchantress, the lady who played the Enchantress, the girl with the eyebrows and stuff. She, you know, there's not a fuck ton for her to do. She's June Moon for a little bit, and then she's the Enchantress for most of the movie. But this changeover scene with Amanda Waller is badass, man, where she puts her hand, June Moon puts her hand on the desk, and all of a sudden the Enchantress like takes her hand and then flips, and they pan up. She looks like the Enchantress. Shit like that's dope. If I was directing, I never would have thought of that. I just would have been like, you know, poof, some smoke from the 70s and swap motherfuckers on camera and shit, and then suddenly the Enchantress would be there. So it was visually fucking sumptuous. David Ayer knows how to fucking shoot. A lot of gunplay in this movie, man, which, you know, some people might be like, hey, in this day and age, be prepared for that. Guns everywhere, bullets flying everywhere and stuff. But nobody really getting killed by the bad guys. Spoilers, count 1, 2, 3. Amanda Waller kill some fucking people who have been taken by spiritual possession by the Enchantress and stuff. That was weird to me. I was like, holy crap. But generally speaking, you know, when they go to war, when the Suicide Squad is in Midway City, that's all abandoned and shit like that, and they start busting heads of the gooey-faced, you know, fucking people the Enchantress kind of took over. You know, in that third act, it kind of gets quite like the Avengers. Like, who are they fighting? I don't know, faceless monsters that fucking all look the same, and we can kill them without worrying about blood or getting an R rating and stuff. So it does fall into that third act that most superhero movies do in terms of like this mass killing with no repercussions because these things are creepy monsters or whatever the fuck. But that don't hurt the movie one iota, man. If you're on board for a flick called Suicide Squad, you're probably going to expect, you know, Deadshot's in the movie, guess what? There's going to be a lot of gunplay and stuff. But we get to see Harlequin wielding bat. She holds the mallet at one point, but she doesn't use it on anybody. I was waiting for that. But the bat's in big play for her. Katana's sword in play. Captain Boomerang, I left him out of the equation, man. Rick Flag as well. Captain Boomerang, I'm sure it's out on the internet by now, but spoilers, 1, 2, 3. In his backstory, we get a flash of the Flash. Like he's robbing something, all of a sudden there's fucking lightning, and they cut to Ezra Miller in the costume sitting there. I couldn't hear what was said because the whole fucking place erupted. Like, ah! So, you know, you get a nice little taste of the Flash as well, of the man in costume, long before the Justice League comes together next year. What else? You know, I thought the Rick Flag and June Moon thing was actually kind of sweet, and I thought that like we got our heart in a box. Amanda Waller thing about the Enchantress was kind of badass. Enchantress was a character I wasn't way familiar with, and so I liked that character as well. By the third act, she kind of gets a little lost in the mess of everybody fighting everything and stuff like that. This is one of these movies takes place at night. Looks badass, man. There's a shot you've seen like a lot. Honestly, by the time you see this movie, you've seen a lot of it in the trailers, the visuals and stuff. But that shot of Will Smith on top of a car, just bum, shooting those fucking wrist guns and shit. You know, I know it's, again, there's a lot of gunplay in the world right now, and maybe nobody wants to be reminded. Everyone got mad about a Jason Bourne billboard a couple weeks ago for he's holding the gun and stuff like that. But, and I'm not excusing it and going, come on, but, you know, fucking Deadshot fires bullets. I don't know how else to tell you that. Like, you can't do that movie unless the dude is shooting those fucking wrist guns. And he does kill bad people. No women, no kids. He's got a real, like, professional kind of thing. Professional of the movie, not, like, professional. So, I'm trying to think what else is in there, man. That I can highlight. What did I love? What did I squeal about? I think I've hit them all already. I'm telling you, one of my favorite things was like, and I want to see this in every DC movie, just like if it's not a Batman movie, just a sprinkling of Batman. So fucking dope. He was in the background sequence for Deadshot. He was in Harlequin's background story, and then we see him like one other time in the flick. But you know, it's the DC universe is now building, man. Like, think about it. Like, you know, for years, Batman and Superman, and now suddenly they're like, oh, we'll put Batman in for a little bit, and then you'll be interested in all these other characters. So I liked it quite a bit, man. I think it's enjoyable as fuck. I'm going to see it again this weekend, man. I enjoyed it that much, and some lines I literally missed because the screening I was in was fucking thunderous and stuff. So it's if you're a DC person and you love the Suicide Squad, I'm sure you're already there. They say the movie's going to open fucking over 100 million, 120, 140 or whatever. So they're going to do fine. You know, some people have wondered, like, will the criticism hurt the movie? Some critics didn't like it. I don't think so. I think this is a critic-proof movie. It's one of those movies where, you know, people, if you're in for the Suicide Squad, and a lot of us have been in for fucking year and change now, from the moment they've been talking about it to dropping that footage in Hall H and Comic-Con, as a guy who was anticipating it, I was not let down. I had a damn good time, a smile on my face, like the whole time I was watching this flick. So bodes well for the future of the DC universe as far as a DC movie fan is concerned. So there it is, man. Suicide Squad, my mini encapsulated review. You know, I'm not doing too much plot stuff, but okay. So they got to stop. The plot is a little bit confusing in as much as they put together by Amanda Waller, and by Amanda Waller putting them together, she unleashes the villain that they actually have to go stop, and they have to go rescue her at one point in Midway City. I don't know how she got there, but doesn't bother me one iota, man. I was just happy to see everything at play, all the characters interacting, the action going on. You know, it was like honestly, in terms of the style of the movies, comic book movies we've seen so far, yes, of course, Marvel has mastered the art form. But this was, and not taking anything away from Zack, I enjoyed Man of Steel and I enjoyed Batman v Superman. But this felt part of a different whole, if that makes any sense. Like, this felt new to me. Like, you know, the same way that Deadpool kind of felt new to me. Like, they were doing something that an old man like me was like, oh, that's interesting. And I wasn't put off by it at all. I was into it. So it feels like a young movie. I would not be surprised if the movie opens bigger than they're saying that it's going to open right now. You know, it's mall rat candy, man. I mean, I know kids don't go to the mall anymore, but like, this is the kind of movie that, like, you wake up on a Friday morning and go like, I can't wait to get through school, work, fucking church, whatever church. Who goes to church on Friday except my mother? I can't wait to get through all that shit just to get to the Friday night. This is my jam. You know who's gonna go to this movie? Not just like people who are like, I love fucking Suicide Squad, I love Harlequin, Floyd Lawton is my fucking boy, or whatever the fuck. Not just deep cuts people. This is like the kind of movie that if my dad was alive, he'd be like, let's go see that Suicide Squad, not knowing anything about it and shit. So you're gonna see a lot of mainstream action on this movie. And that makes me happy as a guy who likes these characters very much, because they're gonna be more people in the world know who fucking Deadpool is. You know what that means? They're gonna make more Deadpool merchandise. It's been very hard to find fucking Deadpool merchandise for the last 25 years, but now this character is gonna belong to other people, so you can reference it and shit. I could say Deadpool and my mom, or I'm sorry, Deadshot. Yipes, Freudian slip, Marvel Freudian slip. Deadshot is what I meant. Wow. Hey man, come on, they're fucking close. And I'd make that same mistake if there wasn't two movies. Deadshot, bitch. Deadshot's in a fucking movie, and now there's gonna be Deadshot merchandise everywhere, more than there's ever been. There's been a few pieces and stuff, but now that the character's in a mainstream movie, it's everywhere. Same thing with Harley Quinn. I got a kid, I named her Harley Quinn, as we all know. I said, and I'm not assuming everyone, because I mentioned it earlier, not because I'm bragging and shit, disclaiming yet again. That kid, man, like, why did I fucking bring that up in the first place? I don't know. I was bragging. I was like, I got laid. I had a kid. You got one of those? Proves I got laid at least once. Anyway, Harley Quinn, we named her that because I've been a big fan of this stuff my whole life. And, you know, so I was, could have gone either way, man, honestly. Like, I could have went in and be like, you guys fucked up my girl. And instead, I came out and I was like, thank you, David. I saw David right after the premiere, gave him a big hug, kissed him, said, you're doing the Lord's work, man. I'm telling you, the style of this, he's on to something. I was glad. I hope he does another one. I hope he's not put off by, you know, fucking some people not digging the movie. Like, you know, if I wouldn't be in this business anymore. But he should do this again. I told him after the premiere, I said, what I like about your career is you're like Ang Lee, dude. Every one of your movies don't look like the last one. You do this, then you jump here, you do this, you jump here and do that. You can't say, oh, that looks like a David Ayer movie, because your style's been so switched up. So keep doing that, but that being said, I said, go back to this genre, because you did something fucking dope here. I've been watching movies like this my whole life. I like what you did. I'm like what you're onto. Bring more of this. So hopefully he's not put off by some people not liking it. You know what? Money salves all wounds. If this movie opens huge, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. And continues playing huge. DC Extended Universe is off to, I feel, a great start with Suicide Squad. This to me is like, yes, okay, yes, now we're at the table, There it is, man. So go out and see it. Obviously, I'm a big fan. You may catch me in the theater. watching it a second time this weekend and stuff. I'll be the guy down front in the hockey jersey going, ah, they did it, and shit. I'm in the bag for this shit. All right, man. For Fat Man, I'm Batman. I'm Kevin Smith. Come back next week. Tune in. Same fat time, same fat channel. Smodcast.com or YouTube/Kevin Smith. Hey man, it's me, Kevin Smith. Thanks for watching. Do me a favor, click that thing below that says subscribe. Every time you click that, you save a baby kitten from murder.